Hi, this is 365801 and this is the Mail Mail Romance book tag. So it's been about 6 months since Caitlyn from Cat Bad Books posted her video on the Mail Mail Romance book tag, which has 10 questions and then 2 bonus questions, which I'll be answering today. And at that point in time, I thought I wasn't really qualified to do my own video for the tag, just because I have only really been reading Mail Mail Romance properly as a genre for about a year and a half, maybe 2 years. And I didn't really feel like I had enough to be able to answer all of the questions. I probably could have, and I kind of wish I had now. But it's been 6 months since then, and I have read an absolute shit ton of Mail Mail Romance. I have already gone well above my Goodreads goal for the year. I think I'm already at like 250, and I would say the majority of them are Mail Mail Romance. I am personally known for reading mainly BL manga and yaoi. I also like graphic novels, even some Chinese BL, some Korean web comics, things like that. But Mail Mail Romance or Killian Romance in prose written by English speakers, or mainly English speakers from the US or Australia or the UK. That's something that I'm only really getting into more and have been getting into for the last couple of years. So I'm gonna do it now though. I'm ready. I've read enough. I'm ready to answer these questions. So we're going to start with question number 1, which is, what was the first Mail Mail romance novel that you read? And without including all the other kind of like yaoi novels or even Chinese novels like Hua Hua Yolong or things like that, I would have to say the first one that I read was Without Reservations by J.L. Langley, which of course led on to With Caution, and then finally With Abandon, and then all the little extras as well, which means yes, I am still waiting for Without Secrets. Who knows if that will ever happen? It may or may not. J.L. Langley wrote these books quite a while ago. I think they were written 2006, 2007, something like that. I don't know when the final book was published, but these are werewolf shifter romances with a bit of mystery, which I have, just recently recognized that this is something that I really love in books, and so obviously I love them because each one has its own little mystery, and of course all the characters are interconnected. So yeah, it's like its own little universe. It's an itch that I didn't know needs scratched, and I absolutely love it. It's still one of my favourite series and is definitely in need of a reread, and I'm so happy now that I have the physical copies, because for a long, long time the older versions were absolutely insanely priced on secondhand stores. So yeah, I'm very happy to have this in my collection, and I think I'm gonna have to give it a reread before the end of the year. So question number 2 is, which book or series have you reread the most? And that is a pretty easy um, question to answer, and it is definitely the Forbidden Desire series. I think this is my comfort reads. I love the full series. I can quite happily just put them on, especially because I have the audio versions through Audible, and it's just a nice comfort, easy listen while I'm doing other things or if I'm feeling down. And I'll put on Bond, which I think is my number 1 favourite from the series, and then Finch, which is my second favourite. And if I listen to one of them, I'm guaranteed to just stick the next one on and listen to it, and then I end up listening to the whole series again. I just checked because I have literally just finished listening to Bond again, and I think I've listened to it 7 times in 1 year. So yeah, I have definitely reread that series multiple times just because it makes me feel nice and comfortable. Michael Furiello does a great job with the accents and the voices, and it's just comfort listening. So yeah, for sure, it's Forbidden Desires by Piper Scott and Virginia Kelly. The third question is, what is a book or series that you disliked but other people loved? And this one's a pretty tricky one because then you know you're gonna alienate a lot of people watching. Sorry. There are a few things that I've tried and I've stopped. I've DNF'd, but I haven't DNF'd 100%. I've just DNF'd for now. So for example, Charlie Cochette, the Hell and High Water one, I started it. I will go back to it when I'm emotionally ready. And also Inside Affair and things like that. Ella Frank, I haven't read any of her work, but I've started and I thought, no, this is too confusing. I need to take my time going through it, and I'm not ready yet. So it's not like I hated it or disliked it. I just thought, no, this isn't for now. But one that I did not enjoy the reading experience for, and I think you could probably tell if you've watched any of my videos, that's All for the Game series. That doesn't mean that I don't own them, I do. But it does mean that I hated the reading experience. I really, really vehemently disliked the reading experience. It put me into like a spiral of depression. I hated it. I hated it. I wanted to yeet it across the room, but at the same time, I kept on reading it and I read it really quickly. So as much as I could say I disliked it, and everyone else seems to love it, I got sucker punched. I got roped in by all of the fantastic fan art, and I love the fan art, and I understand it all now. But it was too tempting, and I did not actually enjoy the reading experience, and I still don't think it's a good series. But I still was very invested in the characters by the end. And by the end, and I have to say this, by the last, page on the last book, I still wanted to yeet it across the room. I just did not like this series as much as everyone else did, and I was really disappointed as well. So yeah, oh, what a shame. It's All for the Game by Nora Sakovic. So question number 4 is a book that made you sob, and I've got two, and one of them is Rule Breaker by Lily Morton. I read Rule Breaker. I actually read a lot of her books out of order. There's a sequence that you should read them in, and I don't think I knew the sequence, and I kind of ended up reading them out of sequence. But each trilogy I read properly. So I did read Rule Breaker first before I read the next two in that specific trilogy. But because of that, I don't think I was prepared emotionally for Gabe and what he did, and how much the musical references really just hit home whilst I was reading it, because she would make the musical reference and I'd be like, okay, I gotta find out. And I'd go on and get the YouTube video and listen to the song and just bawl my eyes out. Yeah, Gabe just couldn't let himself love or be loved, and that was really sad. The other one I think is much more obvious to a lot of people, and that is The Understatement of the Year. That's by Serena Bowen, and I got this through Audible because it was just available on their Plus catalogue, and I don't think I have literally sobbed, like cried like a baby, sobbed as much from a book as I did from The Understatement of the Year. It hit so hard, and these two guys just wanted to be able to live their lives, and it was just like, no. The fact that it was a sports one as well, just, of course, ice hockey. Ice hockey, so many this year I've read, and it just hit so hard. Obviously, hormones are things that happen, so if you catch me at the right moment, I'm gonna be crying my eyes out. But these two books, just they were the ones that I remember the most. Question number 5 is a book that you didn't expect to like but ended up loving, and I have so many because I go into a book sometimes thinking I'm gonna hate this is gonna be awful, and I don't know why I just choose to read them though. But one of the ones I really did not think I was gonna like was Royally Screwed by Lynn Van Dorn. This is A Tale of Two Princes. I thought it was just going to be a bit of silly fluffiness, and I was probably going to think it was a bit rubbish, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I was not prepared for the kink. The slight BDSM spanking is involved, and I was not ready for it, but it hit right at the right moment in time because I was also watching Thousand Autumns um, weekly, and so while I was watching that, I was like, there's definitely something going on. The planets are aligning and everything's coming together, and it's showing that I might have a bit of a enjoyment for this kind of kink. It was quite good. So yeah, Royally Screwed, and that's also another one that I just reread. One also that I didn't want to read and like, but then I read and ended up loving was Boyfriend Material, because it's one of those really popular ones and I'm too cool for school, you know? Is how I think of myself sometimes, you know, when I think, oh, everyone loves this is like a darling, everyone really enjoys it. And I have to say, the first time I tried to read it, I didn't like it and I kind of DNF'd it. But I went back to it. I was like, I'm gonna give this a proper go. And I did, and I ended up loving the characters. And so I'm really excited about Husband Material when it comes out. I've got it pre-ordered. So very happy that I gave it another go. Sometimes the second chance is what is needed. And Alexis Hall's Boyfriend Material, I'm really glad I gave it a second chance. So the next question is question number 6, and that is a series that you won't be finishing. And as I said, sometimes I DNF and sometimes I DNF for now. And one that I DNF'd, and I DNF'd at like 87% in book 1, was Origin, and that's book 1 in the Scales and Spells series by AJ Sherwood. And I really wanted to get into it. I really wanted to. And I was reading it, so I thought maybe if I listened to Joel Leslie's version, that might, you know, as an audiobook, that might swing it. But honestly, I just even didn't want to spend the money on the credit for a story that I just was not feeling at all. And sometimes I DNF because I'm listening to the audiobook and I don't enjoy it, and so reading it is a much better experience for me. So the fact that I was reading it and I wasn't enjoying it meant that it's probably not the right story for me. I was so into it up to a certain point, and then it was just like, nah, I really don't don't like this world. I don't like the characters. I'm not really feeling it. I just and I know it was a really big one and a long one, and it's got lots of dragon shifters, and so I was like, this should be my jam, right? No, it was not my jam. Like I said, I haven't finished Inside Affair. I will go back. I will give Ella Frank a much better go. But yeah, no, Origin is definitely one that I'm just gonna have to say no, thank you. Sorry about that. Question number 7 is a trope that you don't like reading about. There are so many. But with the caveat that every single time that I would say one of these tropes, there is probably a book out there that has this trope in it. But because it's been done in a way that I can access it, I can enjoy it. So yeah, these are like asterisks next to them. The first trope is May to December. I don't really like age gaps. I don't like age gaps. I don't know what it is. Is it because there's a power imbalance? But I don't mind power imbalance. But if the only power imbalance is the fact that one's older than the other, that's what I don't like. Because I really like it when younger, you know, younger people in the couples are powerful, and even if there is a bit of kink or BDSM, it's fine if it's all consensual. But yeah, May to December one's I'm not really a fan of. Miscommunication, that can get out of here. There's the door, on you go. Obviously, love triangles, because they're never triangles. They're never triangles. Give me the threesome that I'm after, or nothing at all. That third person can get out of here. None of that. None of that. I don't like, obviously, cheating. Ugh, cheating just makes me feel very uncomfortable. People who are cheating to get a rise out of someone they love. Oh, that's even worse. Oh, I hate it. Any assault to love. That's something that was obviously a big thing in BL back in the day, and so reading it in any modern works, I'm like, no, get out of here. Not having that. Yeah, so there's quite a few that I don't like tropes wise, but like I said, if it's done right, I could probably enjoy it. But there's those ones probably not so much. Question number 8 is a series you have yet to finish, and so it kind of depends if it's an ongoing series or if it's a completed series. If it's completed, I generally just read everything that's available. So I don't think I have any completed series that I have to finish. But an ongoing one that I am well behind on is the Monstrous series by Lily Mayne. I've read the first one, Soul Eater, and the second one, Eden, but I have got from book 3 onwards, so the Rick, Win, Glow, Moth, and I think she's got a couple more planned, and she's also got loads of extras on her website, and I want to go and read them all, and I want to completely immerse myself in the whole world. But I found, especially reading Soul Eater and Eden, that they heightened my anxiety. I'm laughing because I'm uncomfortable talking about it, but sometimes I find that certain things do make me feel more anxious, and I felt like reading this sort of dystopian world, and the fact that I didn't know if someone was going to get hurt, or the fact that there's all these monsters around, the whole world just gives me massive anxiety. I'm just wondering if anyone else feels that. Like, do you enjoy the series and yet you don't know if you can read it the rest? Because like I literally feel like it might spiral my anxiety by reading it. I want to read it, but I kind of feel like I need to be in a healthier place, and know that I'm not going to um, feel really bad or knock my schedule off by having an anxiety spiral. When it comes to her other series, Folk, I've already read the first 2 in the series. I'm looking forward to the next one. It's great, love it. I'm gonna devour that one. That one also gives me anxiety, but for a different reason, in a different way. The world doesn't. It's too far removed. I'm fine with it. It's folks and fairy tales, but her monster world, that's way too anxiety inducing. Question number 9 is a trope you didn't think you'd like but actually do, and there's loads. Like I said before, if it's done right, I'll probably enjoy it. But the big one for me is mpreg. I did not think I would enjoy it, and I remember way back on the live journal days and the fanfiction.net and stuff like that. One of my friends had recommended some fanfiction piece, and I think it was a Hunter x Hunter fanfiction. And I just read the tags and it was MPEG, and I was like, no way, I'm not reading that. That's absolute nonsense. And of course, here we are now. I think Omegaverse definitely changed that. And by that, I mean the Omegaverse as it has been filtered from a Western perspective, transmigrated over to and through Japanese and into Korean webtoons. So from an Asian perspective, I really like Omegaverse. And so because of that, I've kind of been a lot more open to the MPreg, which has been great because I would never have read Forbidden Desires otherwise. And like I said, it's like a proper comfort read. But there's also other things, like I never thought I would be into daddy kink or BDSM, spanking, things like that. And I think Lynn Van Dorn really changed my perspective for that. But also historical. Like I didn't want to read historical because I never thought it would be enjoyable or accurate. I feel kind of protective over history, and I kind of wasn't sure if an author would do it right. Oh, hi boy, boy was I wrong. KJ Charles is just right there. So KJ Charles definitely showed that historical Achillean obviously is going to be good. So yeah, 3 very good things that I have come to enjoy. Okay, so for this question, this is question number 10, and this is when people are really going to come for me. So sorry if I mention a favourite, but this is just how it's been so far for me. An author you just can't seem to get into. So it's not like I don't like their work. but I've probably only read one of their books, and so it's not like I can't get into it. It's just that I'm probably going to need a little bit more exposure to be into them. The first one is Alice Winters. I read just one of her books, and it felt like emotional whiplash. I was like, uh, comedy and yet life or death situations, back and forth, and I was like, I don't know how I'm supposed to feel. I'm looking for the emotional cues, and I know loads of people. I read afterwards. I didn't know at the time, but I read afterwards. People are like they find her kind of divisive. So some people absolutely love her work, and some people find her work a little bit difficult to get into. So I want to give her another chance. Um, so we'll see. Um, Ellie Easton, I read one or two books from her. I think it was the Howl at the Moon ones, and it was okay. It was another shifter thing, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna give it a go. But also, I just kind of found it a little bit dull and also anxiety inducing. So, if it is anxiety inducing, then I'm gonna be like more weary of having another go. But I might give Ellie Easton another go as well. Annabeth Albert. I know loads of people love her, and she's got loads of books out. And I read just one. I think it was the Shore Leave one. And it was okay. It was a good solid read. It was like I don't know, like a 3 or 3.5 Sailor Proof. I thought it was okay, but not outstanding. And I kind of felt like the ending was a bit meh, meh. So well, yeah. I'm looking for different ones from her that might be better. I'm wondering if her like conventionally yours or out of character might be more my style. I don't know. So I'm gonna give her another go at some point. And the other one was Lucy Lennox, and I tried what was it, Virgin Flyer, and it started off really great. It started off with a brilliant premise, and I was like, ugh, so long and convoluted, and I don't know. It just felt like it was it was kind of boring and nothing happened, and yet at the same time lots happened. So it kind of made me feel like I don't know how to feel about this. But also I did not really enjoy the reading experience for some reason. I kind of felt like it half gave me what I was looking for and then it didn't. So it kind of felt let down, even though I shouldn't have expectations. Anyway, so those are four that I have had a go at because they're big names and people read them and everyone goes on about how great they are. And yeah, I read one of their books each at least and have been like a little bit disappointed. I think if I just give a 3 or 3.5 star to a book, it's fine, it's passable, and I could read another one of their books, but it's not like I'm giving it 4 or 5 stars. I'm like raving about it. So I kind of need to feel like there's other ones. So if you do have any that's your favorite of these authors, you're like, read this one will be great. This will give you a 4 or 5 star. Let me know in the comments down below. So the first of the two bonus questions, a book that isn't raved about, but that you think people should read. I kind of was wondering about this because I've read a lot of things that are actually quite popular, but for me, probably Johnny by Cardeno C. And that's one of the first ones that I read, and it's a short little book. It's quite well crafted. It's very hot and steamy, but it's also dead sweet. It's a shifter romance, but instead of wolves or dragons, it's lions, and so it's all about a lion herd and a premier and his siphon, and I absolutely loved it. But not a lot of people talk about it, and I think a lot of people have probably read it and either enjoyed it or not, but no one really talks about it, maybe because it's a little bit older. But I really enjoyed it. The other one that I did think about for this category is Will and Patrick Wake Up Married, because the whole waking up married thing is just such a fantastic trope that can be done really, really well. And I know that it's quite an older title as well. It's got the kind of ongoing series sort of format, and then it came out with the little extra, I think it was like book 7 a couple of years ago. And I wasn't sure if I was going to enjoy it, and I managed to get it through Audible, and I really enjoyed the Audible version. I kind of didn't like reading it because of the tense that's used. It's kind of like a present tense. And I don't know what the tense is exactly, but the tense used, it makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable. But when you're listening to it in the audiobook form, it's fine. And so I kind of fell in love with Will and Patrick. I didn't expect to, but the premise is there. They wake up in Vegas. Just so happens that one of them is in need of a brain surgeon and the other one's a brain surgeon. Perfect. It's great. Oh, there's mafia involved. It's all silly shenanigans. They live in the hotel. It's so stupid. And yet by like the second book, I'm like 100% committed to Patrick. He's just, you know, he needs to have his outer shell cracked. And I think because I was so late getting to it, I've missed everyone talking about it. So it's not like people didn't talk about it. It's just that I missed it because I'm so slow and late getting to it. So yeah, late to the party. Like one of those like, hey, has everyone read this? And they're like, yeah, years ago. Shut up. We already talked about how much we liked it then. So yeah, that's one that no one really talks about because they're both probably older and yeah, I missed the boat. Now this last one, the bonus question number 2, what is your favourite male-male romance of all time, is always the most difficult question to answer, and I'm not sure if I can. Like I said, I love the With or Without series, and I love the Forbidden Desire series, but I'm probably going to be really boring and say him as an epic, because they're great. I've just been enjoying so many ice hockey male-male romances this year, and before 2022 I don't think I read a single one. And this year I think I probably read, I don't know, like 30. It's been ridiculous. Sports male-male romance is great, but I think just like everyone else in the world, him as an epic just hits a spot somewhere. With me is just a great wee couple. I love them so much. And epic was so epic. I absolutely loved it. It was a great way to finish off. I did read the other book that was the MF romance, about Good Boy, which was okay, but it really wasn't in the same league for me anyway, as him as and epic. Yeah, I'm like a basic bitch, sorry. I love this just like everyone else, and it's probably my favorite. There's loads that I've really enjoyed, and I'm looking out for more that's gonna really make me just fall in love again. I like Top Secret, I really enjoyed as well, obviously, but there's loads like KJ Charles ones I haven't really mentioned, but I absolutely love all of KJ Charles' work. Every single thing that I have read of hers, and I think the little one shot, it's just like a little extra from the Society of Gentlemen, so it's a 0.5. The Rune of Gabriel Ashley is just, it's just perfect. It's so perfect. I absolutely love it. I don't know how many times I would just sit and read it, and it doesn't take long either. It's like one and done in like half an hour, maybe 60 minutes, and I absolutely love it. It's just so much fun. So yeah, it's hard to pick a favourite because there's so many good ones, but if I had to put my money on, I will be a basic bitch and just say the same as everyone else. So that is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think about my selections in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Especially if you've got any recommendations for me, please, please, please. I love recommendations. If you would like to do this tag, consider yourself tagged by me, so tag me back, and make sure you tag Caitlyn too. I'll put all her details and the link to her original video down in the description below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you'd like to see similar content. As I said, I am 365-801 and I make videos about male romance, BL manga, yaoi, and all that good stuff. I hope you're having a good day. Take care of yourselves, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!